category of our show is what would you do? This is where you put yourself in the shoes of a situation and you have to make a cutthroat decision on how would you handle it. Sometimes we'll give you the freedom to answer in your manner, but then sometimes we'll give, a list of options that you have to choose from. Let's go to the first scenario. You are walking your dog down the street. A creepy gentleman offers you $5,000 to buy your dog because it looks tasty. What would you do? A, get that $5,000. B, report the gentleman to the authorities. C, negotiate for more money. D, tell him you will give him your dog if you get to have what he is cooking. Now, a fan submitted this to us and I was baffled. I was like, why y'all thinking about eating dogs and tasty cooking? But if y'all had to choose A through D, which one would you have to, which one?
I just want to say, not that we would ever eat a dog, but just 'cause sometimes we have weird conversations. Sometimes we brought this up to each other about if we had to eat.
If you had to eat JJ.
Yeah, and just how horrible that would be, and how we'd never want that to ever happen. So I'm gonna say I wouldn't sell a dog to be eaten by a stranger. That's not good.
So would you go B?
Yeah, because I'm imagining this guy, okay, he's offering me $5,000, but if he's just sneaking into someone else's backyard and just taking their dog to eat it, I don't know who this guy is.
Well, we do know he's a creepy gentleman.
Right.
But we don't want to assume, because you wouldn't like if somebody just walked up to you and called the cops on you, oh, she's a lovely young lady, say she's seducing young men on the street.
But I'm not walking up to someone asking them to buy their dog to eat it. That's
Clap it up. That's deep. It is not the same to walk to be attractive and ask for a dog. John, A through D.
This is a pretty good moral test, actually.
It is. Because think about, I get passionate, I value human life over anything. So, you have the right to have your dog, your pet, your pup. But at a certain point, if I needed $5,000, you know what I could do with $5,000?
Well, yeah,
Do you know what I could do with $5,000?
First of all, this guy, it sounds like he's already had a bunch of dog because
that's what I'm saying.
He can tell it looks tasty. So
right.
So he's
it's a
thinking
good point.
It is a good point,
this
but
dog, I can get a lot out of this dog. So
we want to just hop on and assume that he's eating dog.
I think there's a lot of context clues that it's not that big of an assumption.
Now, if I was a dog walker and it wasn't my dog, I could just give it to him for the $5,000 and just say the dog ran away.
That's even worse than if it was.
Yeah, all right, let's get off this. I'm getting kind of sad here. You are the president of the United States for one day. You have full executive authority. What would you do? Now, I'm giving this up. There ain't no ACD. I'm giving y'all the option. What would you do? You have the freedom to choose. America.
You can go first. I usually.
I'll tell you what
John. Well, I would say, it seems like an easy one for me would be how we address, how we punish those who have broken laws, right? So, for one, if it's clearly you actually killed somebody, just give them the death chairman, take the guy. But it's very clear.
So you go an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
If this guy is an actual, or they've done something, it's, you can actually prove it, man, just, why leave him in the jail for a life sentence and all the money, and just something like that.
We are paying for it, our tax dollars. I kind of want to go back to that. Let's see, Morgan, what would you do?
I was going on a lighter. I'd say free candy day.
Free
candy,
free
ice
cream,
free candy. I only got one day. We're going to
Thank
party.
you.
We're going
That
to
sounds
celebrate.
lovely. Free candy day?
John's day is darker. He's
just ready to execute.
Two very different days.
Well, something on my mind, because it, there's a lot of, of course, injustice, but a lot of, imbalance too when it comes to that in that regard, right? It's you see it happen all the time, and it's man, that really shouldn't, I really shouldn't be going down, kind of thing. Or again, it would be hard to kind of determine if that's the right route to take.
You only got a day.
There's some that cases where it's that's that needs to be changed. It doesn't have to be that exact law,
Right.
but a law, something along those lines where it's like, okay, obviously, you know, people just, we need to be a little stricter with certain laws.
Clap it up, like Morgan said. I'm for Candy Day. Not to diss my John, whatever you say, no censorship on the last talk show, but I'm for Candy Day. I'm for Candy Day. If I was president of the U.S. for one day, oh gosh, I would require each and every American to subscribe to the last talk show on YouTube. Come on now. I mean, think about it. You know, I mean, we're analyzing the culture. We're doing things that no other talk show has done. Just subscribe to a brother's YouTube, okay?